Welcome to our weekly reading where we explore all things astrological. We hope you're doing really well and staying safe out there. From our two different points of view in two different locations in the world, we bring to you a unique astrological perspective on what is happening right now across the globe. So here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Diana in LA and Cary in the UK, and we're talking about this week's energies of the new moon that has just occurred. It is occurring right now. A time for making new resolutions, a time for making wishes and dreams come true. The moon in 2 degrees Gemini today, 3 degrees as the week goes on. It's going to be moving through, but it's just starting in that Gemini energy. And meanwhile, there's a big stellium in Gemini with the moon, Venus, Mercury, and the sun all in Gemini. So there's a lot of communication going on. And people aren't they? They're starting to come out. People are coming out of their houses. They're venturing out. I'm hearing little gatherings near my house. I can hear in the neighborhood is moving and there's more traffic on the streets. People are starting to come out now. So it's an exciting time of new communications and energies. What are you seeing, Cary, from where you are in the UK?
In the UK, it's very similar. There's lots of communication going on. People are reacting to the easing of the lockdown. It's interesting that English people in London don't seem to talk to each other, but these days they start talking to each other because they're stuck in these long lines. So it's quite interesting. There's been a shift in communication with regards to how people deal with each other. But also, I think we're going to get a lot more instruction over the next 24 hours on the way forward and how things are going to work. Because it's very much a try and see policy, but it involves people communicating very clearly and making sure that messages are very clear. So tomorrow will be a really good time for something like that to happen.
Right, and one of the things that I think is also happening is that, it's been a nice weekend. I think there's been little parties and little gatherings and a little bit of play energy again for the first time in a long, long time. And as we start to move into the week, things we're going to start to have to test, right? The experiments that are happening out there right now in terms of how we re-enter our world and how we are communicating out there, but also with ourselves. I teach a women's circle and do a meditation group, and inside of those, there's a lot of different emotions about this experience. Some people are doing well, and some people are not doing well, and there's a lot of sadness and depression even, and fear, about what's coming. So this weekend has been a little bit lighter, which I appreciated. I can feel just like, not so heavy right now. But as we start to move into the week, one of the things I wanted to just mention is that on Wednesday, Mercury goes into Cancer. So it's been in Gemini for a long while now, and then it moves into Cancer. And so in all of this communication, what I think is going to start to happen is a lot more emotional communication. Things that have been kind of pent up or held in or held secret, or we didn't want to share with people because we didn't know how to share it maybe. We're going to start talking about it. And that can be beautiful because in family relationships and in our circles of friends and who we are living with or who we're speaking with or who we're connecting with, those emotions, in order to be healed, need to be expressed. So I think this could be the beginning of a healing week.
Totally agree with you. And I think something very interesting is going to happen on Wednesday because, as you said, it's important to note that Mercury's gone into Cancer, but more importantly, I think Mars is sextiling Uranus. Now, Mars sextiling Uranus is about breaking free from restriction. So you've got the communication at the beginning of the week. Now you've got a planetary aspect which involves breaking free from restriction. People are restless, people are impatient, they've been locked down for a long time. Interestingly, anybody on the Earth born in 28th of April, 28th of August, and 28th of December. And within 5 days following that, we'll be feeling this transit, and it'll be quite a wonderful transit for them. So all you Taurians out there who are born on the 28th of April to about the 2nd, 3rd of May, huge change happening. And when anything hits Uranus, you really begin to feel it. The world is beginning to feel the aspects happening to Uranus in a very strong way. So it's no coincidence that this aspect is happening in the middle of the week where they're talking about releasing lockdown, about people coming out and people's frustration by being left in. So this is the transit which will break it all open. So people are now coming out into their social circles, but in a very different way.
Right. Mars sextile Uranus is an interesting aspect in general. How it will affect this lockdown and coming out is one aspect, and then another is how it affects ourselves in our lives. Mars sextile Uranus is action and new, right? Coming together. And so here we are taking action out into our world as a collective whole, and also meeting kind of a new world. Things are different. And then how do we respond to that? It's a sextile. It's not a negative aspect. It's actually a positive aspect. It's a growing aspect. It's an aspect that asks us to reinvent ourselves, like literally reinvent ourselves. And so the way we go into the grocery store or drive in our cars even is going to feel different and be different, but kind of in a new, exciting way. It could be, depending on how we respond to it.
That's true. And at the end of the week, you've got the moon trining Uranus, and the moon trining Uranus is people feeling the seeking of emotional excitement, fulfillment. So it's a very vibrant week coming up, a very different week, and a week of change.
So this whole week is experimental feeling. We're kind of tiptoeing out, coming out. Think about it. When was the last time that something like this has happened on our planet? The answer is sort of never. Not the whole world. Places have had problems and wars and plagues, but not the whole entire world. So this whole world is experiencing something together. So it's very dynamic and changing for our world. So here we are in this week of change and playfulness and coming out again. And by the end of the week, then Moon also opposes Neptune. That's kind of the last thing it does this week. And when it does that, you might feel, too much fun, maybe. There's a little hyper euphoria, because when there's finally relief after all this contraction, there's a little bit of let's do more.
People are craving excitement, and the moon trine Uranus is the aspect which creates that. So you've got Uranus, which is a planet of enlightenment, artistic temperament. It's ruled by Aquarius, so it's unique, and it's been trined by the moon, which is your emotions, and people are feeling very emotional now because they've gone through something quite important. So it's a good week. Lots of energy, and lots of positive energy out there.
Right, and lots of talking and communications. So get ready for an outpouring from your own self. It might surprise you, and it might surprise you in terms of your friendships and your relationships, but also in your dreams, because that's another way to communicate, right? In your meditations, you may be realizing a lot of things right now, and as the week progresses, more emotional things. So don't be surprised if you discover that you are full of feeling and wanting to communicate those feelings, and that is part of your healing and our healing. So what a week we've been through. Thank you, Cary, for your beautiful wisdom, and we will meet again, all of us, next week and talk about the stars.
Hi, Diana. Lovely talking with you. See you next week.